Hey there, Guarav. So, more essays from you. Let's see what you had to say about this topic. It's travel, and are there more advantages or disadvantages to traveling? Let's see what you said. Voyages to any location seem, because it's voyages to any location, no S, seem to be very insightful. Okay, as per some people, but a waste of expenses as per other members of society. Communities are divided on the view of whether a visit to any panoramic place is for the better or worse for them. This isn't a question. It should be just a full stop here. This essay will help us illustrate the upsides and downsides of a journey with the help of examples and supporting argument. Okay, let's see. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of traveling. Okay, you've basically rephrased the language in the task, and that's fine. But some of it is just a little unnatural feeling. Okay, it just feels a little unnatural. There were really simpler ways of expressing some of these ideas that would have gotten your general message across more easily and would have made it easier to read. Okay, so it could have been something as simple as voyages, regardless of destination, can be very beneficial according to some, but to others they are a waste of expenses. Therefore, communities are divided on the issue, on this issue. This essay will help illustrate the benefits and disadvantages of travel, using examples to support the arguments. Okay, something like that would have basically carried the same meaning, but I think it's a little clearer and a little more natural language. Moving on. Not only has travel, you don't need to say traveling because there's a noun that already exists for this. It's just travel. So not only has travel been beneficial for an intrepid explorer who travels tremendously, but also for the places that have been visited. Okay. Going on a trip is a mode where different kinds of individuals meet and share. There's a lot of words here and they're not necessary. Trips, how about this? Trips allow different kinds of people to meet and share knowledge. Okay, do you see how it's really the same message, but it's simpler to read, it's clearer. So, trips allow different kinds of individuals to meet and share knowledge, learn about a place's history and geography, and enjoy a sense of adventure. For the locations which are visited, it can help in revenue generation through other modes such as hospitality, souvenirs, and travel. Or even food, you could have said. Okay, not an empirical, because research is uncountable, so we never put an article in front of it. So, empirical research conducted by the Swiss government here, has shown the results, has shown that 78% of the population who prefer to travel have better general knowledge than others, and also 72% of the economy of the places is boosted by the tourism industry. Thus, it seems that voyages are beneficial for the society as well as the people. Okay, that's fine. On the other hand, an arduous journey can be a spoilt experience as a vacation due to severe weather conditions, length of travel, and numerous adventure activities. Alright, you didn't need to refer to it as an arduous journey. While this is in fact a collocation, I don't think it's necessarily applicable here. I mean, you're not just talking about only arduous journeys. You're talking about journeys in general that can be potentially negative, okay? So, cities visited by the tourists can also be severely disrupted in terms of traffic, civilization, and acute shortages of basic necessities. To exemplify, places like Maldives are affected by tourism, affecting their religious beliefs with an S, as it impacts the minds of locals, such as short clothing and also the cities like Johannesburg are facing problems, S, even for drinking water. Okay, so you've got a lot of stuff going on here, and you're not really making it clear and as separate as it needs to be. Let's try this again. So starting with the sentence here. Cities visited by tourists can be severely disrupted in terms of traffic, civilization, and acute shortages of basic necessities. All right, up to here you're fine. For example, places like the Maldives are affected by tourism, comma, since, and it's not really clear how does tourism affect their religious beliefs and make locals wear short clothes. It's not really clear. You're making this kind of mental leap here, and the reader is not following you on this mental journey here. So if there's a connection, you have to make it clear to the reader. You can't just go from point A to point D. You have to kind of take us to point B and C as well. Okay? And then, furthermore, I would have separated these two. Furthermore, cities like Johannesburg are facing problems even with regard to drinking water, as the population during a high season explodes, making it difficult for even residents to have their basic needs met. Okay, so you needed to make these kinds of connections. You can't just assume that the reader knows what you mean. You really, really, really have to make everything point blank clear so that the reader knows why Johannesburg doesn't have drinking water. Okay? And that's not the job of the reader or, well, the examiner to understand what you're trying to say. It's your job to explain it. Okay? So, therefore, sometimes tourism can also have a hazardous effect on the people as well as cities. On people, not just the people, but on people. Experiences are said to be a better teacher to an individual, comma. Hence, comma, experts have been recommending what to the citizens? Travel? I assume that's what you mean, but you're missing the word here. Although there are some disadvantages of traveling on the people and cities, it is still suggested in the society. It is still suggested, well, I don't know about this, to have a bon voyage. We usually say, okay, bon voyage. We say have a good trip as like a farewell. We don't just kind of say it like this. So, although there are some disadvantages of travel on people and cities, it is still suggested that people take a lovely trip. Okay, something like that. Furthermore, the drawbacks can always be resolved by finding various solutions, such as strict rules and regulations, and providing better infrastructure. So, apart from the other errors that I mentioned here, the order of your paragraphs is incorrect. Since you are in favor of traveling on the whole, you should reverse these two paragraphs. This should go here, and this should go here. Reverse these two. Okay? You've really tried to use some advanced vocabulary, but I want you to be a little more cautious about the vocabulary you use, because there were a number of mistakes. It looks like you're taking risks, and I'm happy you're doing that, but sometimes those risks are not paying off, okay? So let's now look at the general task 1. You're writing a letter to your friend to talk about your new job. Dear Andre, I hope you are doing well. I'm really excited to write this letter informing you about the switch over from my existing employment in Oracle to Google. Okay, the journey has been wonderful so far in my ex-company due to my former colleagues and the work environment. Although it was splendid to provide the deliverables at the former organization, it was the appropriate time for me to transition to a new role after 7 years of congruent responsibilities. Okay, now here's the thing. You're writing your friend Andre, and that's great, but some of this language is just not really natural when we talk to a friend. It's just a little too formal. It's a little too it's just a little too formal and unnatural, okay? So let's talk about this. I'm really excited to write this letter informing you about my decision to change jobs from Oracle to Google. The journey had been wonderful, that's fine, in my ex-company, because I had a lot of wonderful colleagues, and the work environment was really satisfying. Although it was splendid, I don't know about that. Alright, fine. Although it was splendid to how can you say this? I don't really know how you can say this. I have to think about it, and I don't want to waste your time. I felt it was the right time for me to transition to a new role. And I don't know about this congruent responsibilities. Again, it's a little too formal. Okay, so instead of this, I would have just said, I felt it was the right time to make a new change and start at a new company. Okay, so it has been a month since I joined the new organization, and the roles which I have been assigned seem, singular, for this roles, so no S, not singular, but plural actually, no S here. And the roles I have been assigned seem to be pretty good till now. Not only have I been assigned my own cabin, do you mean my own office? I think so. Or maybe you mean cubicle, but it's not clear. We never call these places in an office a cabin. So not only have I been assigned my own office, but also the team reporting to me seems to be very helpful and the projects aligned. The campus is beautiful, salary good, deliverables are exciting, and the interactions with senior management are insightful. Interactions are. The other good news is that I have purchased a new Audi Q7, nice, on lease after joining after starting my new job. Okay, this is again not totally natural. After starting my new job, its interior is pretty sleek and advanced, with Bluetooth connectivity, parking dashboard, and voice controls. We will go for a long drive in the car once you arrange a family visit at our house. Hope to see you soon. Okay. All right, fine. Kind regards, Robin Grant. Fine. So it's fine. I like the last paragraph about your other good news. In other areas, like I said, I thought that the language was a little unnatural. It didn't feel like an informal letter. It felt rather formal, rather stiff. So be careful. I want you to be familiar with what kinds of language we use in a formal letter and what kinds we use in an informal letter. So make those changes, send them back to us, return them corrected. Don't forget your error correction list, and I'll be here waiting to see what you write in your next essays. Okay? Good luck.